Alright, the summer is almost over, and for those of you who have been around for a while, you know what that means. It's time to showcase another build that I have submitted to the YouTuber R.R Slugger's Summer of Slug. If you have not been around this channel, that sentence will leave you completely baffled. So let me explain. Every summer, R.R Slugger organises a community building project for his channel and showcases them for his final video of the summer season. Every year I endeavour to play a small part in the festivities by putting forward my own build. In previous years, builds have been themed around Star Mail, an intergalactic postal service, and Mechtropolis, a society that converts everything into mechs. This time, the theme is time, as Slugger invites people to build Time Drifters, a race car from across time and space. So I slapped a couple of wheels on a TARDIS and called it a day. Just kidding, I'm not that lazy. Slugger's proposal draws its inspiration from the Lego theme Time Cruisers, a back-to-the-futuresque team of Timmy and Professor Cyber as they cruise around Zero Time, visiting Lego themes of the era. Its sister theme, Time Twisters, has a more morally corrupt pair of adventurers of Professor Millennium and Tony Twister. Slugger has produced a series of videos on these themes, and I was inspired by those videos to even buy the flagship set of the theme, set 6492, the Hypno Cruiser. This thing is crazy in all the right ways. A souped up fire-spitting engine at the front, helicopter rotors on top for the moments that you don't need roads, and that all-important hypno disc that allows the pair to travel through time. And as a bonus, it all spins as you drive it around. The yellow highlights really pop against the light grey that makes up the majority of the build. To make up for the lack of a boot, or a trunk if you're from Throwbot country, the Hypno Cruiser needs a trailer to carry around the time traveller's disguises so they don't stick out so much in the past. Not all time travellers are that careful. I'm looking at you, the Doctor. If you want to hear more about the Hypno Cruiser, then I encourage you to look up Slugger's videos about the set, and indeed the rest of the theme as a whole. But for now, let's turn our attention to what kind of Time Drifter race car that I actually built. If you have seen one of my mock videos before, you'll know I like to do these things on a small budget, as most of the pieces that I have access to are from the Throwbots line, and since I don't want to step on Turbo's toes, tyres, I went for a system build, and this is what I ended up with. The Time Drifter UFO race car. The first thing I want to address about this model is the size of it. It's as small as I could possibly make it for a few reasons. One, to keep the price down, and two, because of who I initially wanted to be the driver of this car. My first choice was these little imposter aliens that came out in the space-themed collectible minifigure series. It would be unfair if these little guys weren't allowed to join the race because their feet don't touch the accelerators of a traditional car, and I also imagined it would be rather tricky for them to control their robot disguises to try and steer a car. That's just asking for trouble. I wanted to encase the figure in one of these dome pieces to act as the cockpit and give off that traditional UFO feel. But while this piece can comfortably sit over a minifigure's head, the alien imposter is just a little bit too tall to sit under it. I could have just given up with the dome idea, slapped a steering wheel on top of the dish that made up the top of the UFO and called it a day, but it just didn't feel right. So I ended up having to order a few more bits. To match the green wheels of the car, I got this robot butler, also from that space collectible minifigure series, stole his helmet and then made this little guy from the latest series of Lego Space, the new driver of the set. The shrunken down UFO look is completed with this little antennae, a spare from the imposter figure. The new driver did unfortunately have to have their head separated from the rest of their body in order to fit inside the car, but I figured that they were so thin and tentacly that they could do this, and I could just pretend that the rest of their body was below the dome, operating the controls of the car. I decided to go for a two-wheeled vehicle for the design, in order to make it as round and dish-like as possible. It also helps with turning circles for cornering at high speeds. At the back of the model, I did manage to fit a little exhaust pipe, which spouts out whatever green fog this is. That bit admittedly did start out as a ray gun to slow down other racers. But look at this little guy. He's way too friendly to be using a ray gun. This does mean that the model is a little bit back heavy when all three of the exhaust effects are on it. Some careful Lego maths was used to keep the UFO as thin as possible. There is only just enough ground clearance for the wheels to roll. Even one more layer of internal structuring would beach this design. That does mean that the wheels aren't as structurally sound as I would like them to be, but they'll hold up for a few races at least. I did feel bad leaving out these little imposter aliens, so with the leftover bits that I had for experimenting with the UFO car, I did end up making him his own little car. Again, a two-wheel design, but at least he gets a steering wheel unlike the UFO car. It's incredibly simple, but it uses up a few pieces that would have otherwise been purchased in vain if I hadn't found a use for them. And he can hold his own with the big boys in a race if he needs to. What do you think of this? Should I have just phoned it in and entered that TARDIS car? Did you send in a time drifter to race in the greatest Grand Prix in time? Let me know if you did so. Once again, thank you to R.R Slugger for putting the community building project together once again this year. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can come on back for the next one.